Sanders breaks it down against Miller, and he has to crumple down to the turf. Miller, Wheeler, Caldwell, and everybody's jawing now.
Yeah, this is kind of goofy. You kind of fake.
Here's Mike Pereira. Shedeur Sanders pushes our referee, Kevin Marr. Mike?
Yeah, there's no question that he does. Look, I get why he's upset because people are almost climbing over him after he was down. But, you know, the officials can use their hands all they want to try to keep order.
All right, welcome to Make It Official here, 411 Sports World Network. I am your host, Mr. 411, and in the house with me is our official expert. I call him an expert. He won't call himself that because he's so humble. Mr. Stephen Duval. We welcome everybody in here. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, the notification bell to share because sharing is caring. Make sure you type in 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. Also, go to TikTok and make sure you follow us there on TikTok, Mr. 411. That's MisterFourOneone. And the same thing on Instagram, Mr. 411. All right, Mr. Duval, welcome. Man, how was your Thanksgiving weekend, if you will?
Oh, it was a wonderful weekend. Wonderful weekend. You know, got to see family, friends, and all. That's always a good time. You know, where you can get together with family and break bread and everything. Of course, I ate too much. Am I the only one? Am I the only one?
You're not the only one. I can tell you that now.
Right. Yeah.
And we couldn't pick the roughest time of the year to do this is when
Yeah.
football and basketball season going on. We have to officiate,
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
but we're
And
doing it.
but it was a good time. Good time. Good time had by all.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, welcome everybody. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. And we're into December now. Today is December the 2nd, 2024. So let's get it. Hey, the football season is heating up. You have the college football playoff. You have the NFL teams are positioning for playoff positions. You have a lot of rivalry teams playing each other. I just watched the NBA game last night between um, the Rockets and the Thunder, number one versus number two in the West. They had some heated moments in that game. So I think everybody's just fired up, man. It's
Fired
either
up.
everybody had too much turkey or getting ready for the next holiday or something. But it's just, man, it's hot out there, man. So what we're gonna do is talk about a couple plays on the gridiron. You saw the first video there with Shedeur Sanders, quarterback for Colorado Buffaloes, and the situation that he was in there after being piled on by a lot of Kansas players there. You saw the frustration. He shoved the official. So, Mr. Duval's going to break this play down for us. And so we're going to break it all the way down through with him about the shove of the official, about the defense, were they too rough, all these different things. And so we just hope you enjoy this episode. All right, Mr. Duval, we could play it one more time for you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we can dive
Let's take a
into it.
look. All right.
Yes, sir. All right, here we go.
Fake the toss. Now Sanders breaks it down against Miller, and he has to crumple down to the turf. Miller, Wheeler, Caldwell, and everybody's jawing now.
Yeah, this is kind of goofy. You kind of fake.
Here's Mike Pereira. Shedeur Sanders pushes our referee, Kevin Marr. Mike?
Yeah, there's no question that he does. Look, I get why he's upset because people are almost climbing over him after he was down. But, you know, the officials can use their hands all they want to try to keep order.
All right, Mr. Duval.
Yeah. Okay. It of course everybody knows players they can't put their hands on the referee. I can understand his frustration, of course. They mauled him, and of course, Shedeur, being in the position he's in, he has a big super target on his back, everywhere he goes. So and with all the media scrutiny and everything else that he's under, he's in in the hunt for the Heisman Trophy, in the hunt for the first round pick in the NFL. Everybody's watching this kid. So when in the heat of battle, though, things are going on, and of course, those Kansas players were after him, and they're out to get him. Now, as a white hat or the referee, I've said it before in the program and everything else. Quarterback is your guy. Wherever the quarterback goes, that's where you got to go. You got to watch him. You can't be ball watching. If he throws a pass, you can't watch the pass. You got to watch the quarterback, because all kind of stuff is happening afterwards. So in this particular instance, the referee, his guy gets mauled. Now, what I didn't see in that video, and I don't know, I didn't watch the game all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was a highly contested game, and those guys came to play. Kansas came to play, and they beat them up. And even Coach Prime said that they beat them. They got beat on the field. But at the end of the day, this particular play, when these guys are doing what they did to him, then I've got to see a flag. I didn't see a flag thrown. It's too much roughness and everything, and it should have been at least a unnecessary roughness. Dead ball, unnecessary roughness after the play. He's down on the ground, and I saw a guy knee him in the head. So all that stuff. And if you're watching the quarterback, I don't know whether he got blindsided, not blindsided, but
Maybe straight line.
got straight line. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, where he couldn't see it, but then again, that's your guy on the ground. You got to go in there and rescue him. So, I understand his frustration, but again, I don't know whether he got 15 yards for doing that, but he could have easily been ejected, for that act. Of course, now you heard the commentators say, referees can do what they got to do. In college football, these are grown men. It's a little different in high school. In high school, we're taught not to touch players, but in college, we're told, do what you got to do, to separate. So I've been in a college game before, and got between two linemen, and they had me suspended in the air. You know what I mean? I'm trying to break them up. I'm just dangling in between them. But I kept them in the game. They were going to throw punches at each other or whatever. And the next thing, I'm suspended in the air amongst them. But I'm doing what I'm doing, to break them up. So these guys got in there and they were breaking up the fight. But at the end of the day, somebody should have had a flag on that play. And that always calms it down. I mean, you can always use that as an excuse. When a player comes to you and say, he did such and such, I say, well, I got the flag on the ground. I've already penalized him. But if you don't have a flag on the ground in a situation like that, then now it's like, well, what were you looking at? And then people will, they'll make comments like, you're going to get somebody hurt and all of this stuff.
Right.
I ain't getting nobody hurt. I'm not throwing any punches. I'm not doing anything. But at the end of the day, we have to police these types of situations, and you have to police them correctly.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm thinking they should have had a flag on the ground. Whether they did or not, I don't know. But if nothing else, it should have been 2 offsetting penalties. Unsportsmanlike on Shedeur and unnecessary roughness on them, and then the penalties offset. You go with what you got. Because they were dead ball fouls. All that was dead ball stuff.
Well, the thing is, like, which some of the things that parse out of what you were saying there is that the white hat official that's in the back, his job is to officiate the quarterback, and so with all those players piled up, I guess it is possible that he couldn't see exactly everything that happened there, because I guess in my opinion, with so many bodies there, all just piled up all over the place, it's possible that with him being in that looking from behind, that he might not see one of those players that did pile up on Sanders, but then as the player was getting up, you see the knee on his head. I guess you can't go into the mind of that player and see and just assume he did that on purpose or not. Of course, we know in the backdrop there's a lot of a lot of bravado that comes from Colorado it comes, a lot of moxie that comes from Sanders, with doing the watch thing, with his watch, doing all that kind of stuff. So I think they could be something within there where opponents want to have that little extra juice in there when they play them. But if that white hat official couldn't see it, what about the sideline officials, or and you can give us the better terminology for the positions, but maybe the officials that are lined up on the line of scrimmage? I would think that official might have had a good angle at it. Could they have stepped in and did anything?
As an official, anytime you got a safety issue on the
Yes,
field
sir.
and you see something on the field, you can throw that flag from anywhere on the field. I've thrown the flag from 40 yards away because I saw some unsportsmanlike, any unsportsmanlike safety fouls and that sort of thing. So if anybody saw that, it's not just his responsibility. If anybody saw that, they should have thrown on that. And I'm not saying whether they saw it or not, but you
Right.
can't ignore something like that because
Okay.
that's highly contentious now. He has done something. Now you made a point whether sometimes you might get pushed getting up or whatever, and accidentally need him in the head. Well, in this case, him being the quarterback, it doesn't matter whether it was
Okay.
intentional or accidental. You know, uh, I mean, if I hit you with a board upside your head right now, it really doesn't matter whether it was or not. You still felt the effects of that board busting you upside the head. So,
Right. Right. Okay.
he, it was an act that was unnecessary. It was a dead ball. It was a foul. Now, whether he intentionally did that or not, I'm going to err on the side of caution and say it was intentional. That it, delivered or whatever it was. Now, am I going to toss him from the game? Probably not on that, but at least I'm going to have a flag and we're going to have a foul on that play. You see,
Right.
and I
Okay.
think they really, if they ignored that foul, then now you're ignoring, Shedeur pushing the referee. Well, um, so it sort of worked itself out, but it still didn't look good. It doesn't look good after the fact, and I'm
Right.
sure it doesn't look good to people who are evaluating that game and evaluating your crew. Just like everybody else, all these teams are vowing for certain things. They want to go to a bowl game. They want to be in the championship game and all of that. Same thing's going on with the officials. A lot of people don't realize that. But as you're evaluated in these types of situations or whatever, then you want to advance to the playoffs also.
Yes, sir.
So that one instance, being evaluated in this particular game, could very well cost you a bowl assignment. Cost you your next game if depending on how they figured, you ruled on that play. Crews can be set down for different things and all. So it's a lot of stuff going on, not only with the players, but it's also with the officials. You want to do a good job because you are rewarded for doing a good job. Everybody doesn't get bowl assignments. Those are nice little vacations for your family and everything else, man. You get that Orange Bowl assignment down there in Miami or somewhere. You
Yeah,
take
that's
your whole
nice.
family down. That's a vacation, man. A paid
Yeah.
vacation. You go down there and
Yeah, that's an awesome one.
yeah, it is. It's like a bonus. You work the job during the season, but these playoff assignments and everything, uh, those are like rewards and bonuses and stuff because everybody doesn't get that. So you get paid for those too. Can
All right, Mr. Duke. Mr. Duke. Okay, there you go. I had a little technical difficulty there for a second, but we're
I
we're gonna
did
be
too.
good.
We're good
All right,
now.
we're good to go. Okay, everything's straight again. All right, so yeah, that was a great way to break down that play. Uh, and a lot of good things that you brought up in there, especially when you're talking about, the officials. They have a job to do. Each official in certain areas have a job to do. You can step in if you see something, especially dealing with, like you said, safety, you know what I'm saying? Situations like that is dealing with safety. Uh, that's important that, that let people know that, hey, it's not just on one official, it's on the
Right.
crew. And they also have something that they're striving for too, just like the players are. So,
Correct.
and I like to share that because in the minds of a lot of people, and it's fine because they're not officials, but they're fans of the game. They'll think that the officials have something to do with, okay, we just don't like this person. Uh, we don't like this person because they talk a lot of, trash, or they're so, uh, they got everybody against them or something like that. But the
Right.
officials really have a job to do, and they're being evaluated. And that's one
Right.
thing that people have to understand, that yeah, there's different levels of officials. There's officials that are kind of getting into the sport. There's some that just do it for the money. There's some that are trying to ascend to certain levels. So you have different levels of officials, and I have different levels of different types of players. But for the most part, the officials are out there trying to do a good job and try to advance, especially when you're looking at the collegiate level, the pro level, and higher levels of high school. They're trying to advance, and in order to do that, you have to beat the tape. You have to beat the evaluators, things like that. So that was a good play to break down and discuss uh, with that. Now, one more piece of that, Shedeur shoving the official. You mentioned that at the collegiate level, and we know the professional level, officials can put their hands on players to de-escalate situations. High school level, that's off limits. We're not touching kids. We're not, they do whatever they do. We're watching, but we're not putting our hands on them. So with him shoving the official, what what do you think? Let's just put yourself in that game. What kind of conversation would the crew have had to have there?
Uh, is this a G-rated show?
Yeah, it's you know what it covers all spectrums. So
That's right.
do what you
Yeah.
got to
The thing is,
do.
that we're taught, to have conversations, with players and everything, to de-escalate stuff and everything like that.
Right.
Now, I'm talking all night long to players, all day long if it's a day game. I'm always talking to the players. We have a dialogue. I'm making a presence among them. I want them to know that I'm there, because if they hear me, then they know that I can see what they're doing. So oftentimes I'll come in and we'll have conversations, so there would have definitely been a conversation with Shedeur because of that, Hey man, what are you thinking about? You must don't want to play anymore or something like that. If I didn't eject him or throw a flag or whatever it was on that particular play, it's going to be some conversation that, you're not going to do this. You can't do this and everything else, So uh, the problem is film don't lie a lot of times. And so things that you see, you still can't hear. That's a good thing oftentimes,
Right.
because I will, when kids are getting out of hand, when I say kids, or players are getting out of hand, depending on the age and everything else, then I'm in there and I'm talking to them, and we are having these conversations. And yeah, so I mean, but it's a respectful conversation too. I'm not trying to belittle them in my conversation. You know, it's like if you see a kid make a good play, uh, you're gonna say good play, good, that, and they can hear you. If you see a kid, he could have. The player was going down. He was almost on the ground, and the kid came in there, and he almost was finna to put a lick on him, but he didn't. He held up. I will have a conversation about that. Way to hold up, number 12. You didn't have to hit him, and you knew it. Good job on that play. Good sportsmanship, all that kind of stuff. So you're having that conversation all day long with these kids. And it makes the game better. They respect you and you respect them. But I'm not gonna ever be out there trying to belittle a kid or talk down to him or whatever. I will discipline, you know. Uh, and we will have disciplined moments, and we will talk about certain things they're doing and their behavior and all of that. And oftentimes, these are college kids, and so you treat them as such. That these are intelligent kids. They're getting education and everything else. So when you approach them from that standpoint. They aren't dumb, They know exactly what they're doing a lot of times. And I tell everybody, Division I football is professional football. You can call it what you want to call it. These are pros out there. These boys are pros, man. So you have to, you have to know the situation that you're in. And as far as the discipline that you're handing out and that sort of thing, it still has to be in a respectful manner.
Okay.
Conduct yourself. And so your comportment and everything else, and you garner that respect from the players and everything. But they know that you're out there and you're not out there trying to be, a butthole, if you will. I'm just out here to administer this game. And we're going to let you play. Nobody, I tell kids all the time, nobody came to watch us. They came to watch you. So as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, then we're going to stay out of this mess,
Yes, sir. Now, Mr. Duval, if one of the other officials saw the shove,
Right.
okay, if one of the other officials saw the shove, what would be walk us through how that would have been handled or should have been handled? And we're just saying if, because I'm
Okay.
thinking
If
with
I
all those,
saw it, if I
I'm
saw
thinking
the
with all
shove
those
or whatever,
players surrounding him, it's hard to see.
I'm either going to come in there and I'm going to have the conversation. I saw exactly what you just did, man. What were you thinking? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I'm going to throw the flag and then come in with the conversation.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you have that liberty to do that. Even though he didn't shove me, you're still a part of that crew. Because pretty much if he shoved him, he did shove me. He shoved one of us. This is one of our players, that you did this to. So it's
Yes,
three
sir.
teams out there, it's three teams in every game.
Right. And I'm glad. And I'm glad you breaking that down that way because, and this is for officials, and this is officials in all sports, because we are a team. So if you have, obviously in some sports it's just one official, but most of the time you have a group of people, so two or more. And we have to work together as a crew. We have to have each other's backs out there. We have to be aware of what's in our area but then also have, a second sense there of being able to reach into our next area and help and assist when necessary, and have each other's back. Because if I see something that's going on with my part, with a player or coach, with my partner, then as a good partner, I need to step in there and help de-escalate the situation. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't get to something where my partner gets into some trouble. You know what I mean? So we gotta look out for each other. So I'm glad you brought that up and showed that the other officials had the autonomy to step in and help out in situations. So that's very good there.
Yeah.
All right, that was an intense situation,
Oh yeah.
and a lot of heat there, but I think they've all kind of moved on there with that. And what we're going to do is move on to now this play right here, Mr. Duval. This play here, this was a real rough and tough hit from yesterday. Involves it actually involves your favorite team, and so we're going to play the video, and then we're going to come back. And what I'd love for you to do is break down the play, give us, from the vantage point of a football official, the rules, all these different things. Just break it down for us so we can all understand because there was a lot that happened afterwards too. All right,
Okay.
so we
All
get
right.
this video fired up.
Represents so many special people.
Oh, there's no doubt that Trevor represents them well. And oh my, that'll be Al Shire who's flagged for the big hit on the slide, and that's going to start a little bit of a scrum afterwards as the Jaguars come into.
All right, do we need to run it back one more time?
I mean, you could, but it's that's pretty much run it back one more time.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
We're gonna run it back one more time. 17 seconds.
All right.
Represents so many special people.
Oh, there's no doubt that Trevor represents them well. And oh my, that'll be Al Shire who's flagged for the big hit on the slide, and that's going to start a little bit of a scrum afterwards as the Jaguars come into.
All right, there's a lot there, Mr. Duval.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, as an official, as soon as you saw that play, you knew. I don't care where you were on that field. It's time to get there, because all hell is finna break loose. These players are taught to protect the quarterback. This is my guy. Of course, linemen are always, trying to protect the quarterback. That's their job. So, but he's out there running in the open like that, and this play is just. It's a routine play in pro football now. They know that when the quarterback scrambles, he's gonna get as far as he can get, and then he's going to give up. So that's exactly what he was doing. He was giving up on that play, and this guy came and hit him, and that was, it was totally uncalled for him to hit like that. So you knew, as an official, as soon as you saw that, what was about to happen, and that's exactly what happened after that play. That all hell did break loose.
Yes, sir. So when you say give up, okay, you're referring to the quarterback sliding.
Right.
And there's different ways that you can slide, right? You can slide face first. You can slide like Trevor Lawrence did, which was feet first.
Yeah.
So is there a difference in the type of sliding that determines whether the defender has to, understand now the quarterback has given himself up?
Well, if he's going head first, then you're looking at that as he's trying to gain extra yardage.
Okay.
So now you got a chance. It depends on where he is. Now, if he's on the ground, anytime a player's down on the ground, play's over. He's already, he's already. Of course, in pro football, you can get up. You
Hmm.
can get up. After if you go down. But for the most part, if he's going head first, then he's trying to get extra yardage. But as soon as he initiates that slide feet first, then they're not marking the ball where his feet are. They're going to mark it where the ball is. It's at. So
Okay.
it's a 1 or 2 yards short of wherever his feet is. So the play's over. So it's nothing that he can get by even sliding on the ground or any of that, because the rule is once he starts to give up like that and start to slide, then the play is pretty much dead right there.
Okay.
So this guy, really, you can interpret that as a late hit, unnecessary roughness, late hit, targeting, all
Ooh.
of that in the mix there. And so at the end of the day, that with the head or neck, and there you go. That's good to put that up there. So that forcible contact, I don't know what this guy was thinking, because at the end of the day, they see this play all the time. This is a routine play in pro football now. When that
Yeah.
quarterback scrambles, he's taught to get out. And then the way they got rules set up now, the way you can and cannot hit the quarterback, then to lay off him in that situation. That's just the way it is now. 20 years ago it's different, but this ain't 20 years ago now. As soon as you see that guy go into that slide, you got to hold up, and you got to do everything you can to avoid any contact with him in that situation. But he wasn't trying to avoid anything. He was trying to put the wood on him, and that's
Yeah.
what
I
he
mean,
did.
that was brutal. And then look at
Yeah.
and let's go to the next phase of that, right? So after that hit, that brutal hit, you can see the quarterback, you can already see he was concussed because,
Right.
they talk about how the body, freezes up, or the arms and hands and movements or whatever, or lack thereof, when you're hit and concussed. So, wow, that's already going to set his teammates on fire. So now
Absolutely.
you have another layer here where you're going to have players reacting to this hit.
Right.
So now you have to officiate the fight, you know what I'm saying, or the
That's
scrum or
right.
whatever you want to call it,
That's right.
that happened immediately right after this hit.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what is going through the mind of the crew when you have a player that's concussed on the ground, and then you have almost 20 other players that could be possibly piling up all around this guy, or and it has it ended up going all the way to the sideline. So how do the officials handle this situation now
Well,
at that point?
you got to get there. You got to get there amongst this. First of all, the fight is between the players on the field, but now you got 30, 40 jokers over there on the bench,
Hmm.
ready to come
Yeah,
off the bench. And now, that's another foul for coming off the bench, engaging in something and all of that. So you pretty much your memory's got to be clicking, to see if anybody's coming off that sideline now to get involved with this, right? Now the coaches, you want the coaches out there to separate all this stuff to get their players. In fact, you tell the coach, anything. What are you gonna do? And I ask the coaches before the game, and I always, preface it. I say, don't think I'm a butthole for asking this, but what are you gonna do if a fight breaks out? See,
good
so
question.
there's fight protocol there already. What is your staff supposed to do when the fight breaks out? What are you supposed to do? So what we want the staff to come out there and separate players. Now, in a situation like that, you pretty much got to watch the staff too, because the quarterback coach might come out there and want to do something. He ain't out there looking, to restrain his players. He might be coming out there to land a lick himself. So this is a little different, in just a regular fight. With two guys, they start off, and then all of a sudden you see licks being thrown. Uh, so uh, when you say, what do? You do everything you can to de-escalate this thing. So first of all, you got to get there. You got to get in between it, and you got to do the best you can. And at the end of the day, you got to have a good memory, and you got to have be able to write numbers down and everything else. Who did what? The good thing about the NFL is they're gonna film all of this stuff.
Right. Hmm.
So it's not like a high school game on Friday night where you got to remember all of this stuff. They see everything already, on film. So it's being filmed for them. And if they miss something, well, film don't lie. So they'll be able to get everything. And anybody who participated, wrongly or whatever in that situation, they'll break it down frame by frame. And they'll get all the culprits before it's all over with.
That's right.
But understand, on a Friday night, even in lower levels of college football or whatever, you don't have all these cameras to look at this stuff and be able to figure all this stuff out. So you got to go right from there. It's a tough situation, you know.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yeah.
so, but I think, of course, I didn't see the whole aftermath of everything else,
Hmm.
but you really got to get in there, and you got to try to de-escalate this as best you can. And you want help from those coaches to restrain those players, because players will listen to coaches. Oftentimes they ain't trying to hear what you got to say as an official.
Right. But I love
They
what
don't
you
have to
said there.
answer to you necessarily. They do
Yeah.
have to answer to that coaching staff, and whatever they got to do. And
Well,
these
I
are
do like what you said.
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry, but I do like what you said there earlier about when you was briefing the coach, right, the head coach.
right,
What are you going to do? What is your protocols? You
right,
know, if a fight or a fight will occur or may occur, what are you going to do? And I like that because it puts that in the mind of the coach
yeah,
to be prepared for a situation that may happen
that's
because
right,
you never know when a fight's gonna break out. You don't
that's
know what's
right.
gonna cause it. And
And
so it's
it's
one of those things that we take for granted. You know what I mean? We
right,
take
right,
that piece of the game for granted. And then when it happens, now we're like, oh, blah, blah. We need to prepare for that. And
right,
so just using, the sport I work in is basketball in all the pre games that I'm in, that question has to come up. Whether if one of my partners don't bring it up, I'm gonna bring it up because
yeah,
we have to talk about what to do in case a fight breaks out. It's just like, living at home.
yeah,
What do you do if a fire happens? What
that's
is your
right,
plan? How are you gonna get out the house? So we don't think about it because that doesn't happen often. a good thing. We're glad it doesn't, right?
Right.
But you have to have some sort of plan in place, and that's what if you take that and move it into officiating, that's what we need to do. And I'm just so glad you brought that up.
Yeah. 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 It's more than notion, man. When you're out there, you know, uh, it's a lot of things are going on.
Yes, sir. And so you have either you have roughing the passer that you said could fall under this play. You also said targeting. So
Well, it's not roughing
do
the
you
passer
pick?
necessarily because he didn't throw the pass, but it's
Okay,
roughing
so
the
it's not roughing the
quarterback.
passer, roughing the
Right, right,
quarterback.
right. It's
Okay,
unnecessary roughness, you know. So
okay.
I guess the
So we go with
penalty is just
unnecessary run.
regular unnecessary roughness. Um,
Okay.
and uh, but I think targeting probably came into play. And in this case, what was he, number 10 or number 0? He's not playing
Oh,
anymore. Not
oh,
today.
he's gone. Right.
He's gone.
Yeah.
He's got to go. That's a no-brainer right there. Got to get him out of there.
And
And
guess what, Mr. Duval? They ejected him. He was ejected from the game. And on the way out, hold on, let me get my technical stuff together here. But on the way out, he was the fans were throwing items
oh
at him.
well,
So it got out of hand
yeah, I
in the
don't
stands
condone
too.
that. Yeah, but
Right, right. It
but
really got out of hand there in Jacksonville.
yeah,
You know, but I would say this. So items were thrown at the players. Uh, we can assume that it was definitely going at. His name is Azeez Al Shahir. I believe that's how you say his name. The
okay,
Texans defender that made that hit. But as him and one of his teammates were and a coach were walking back to the tunnel, there was fans throwing items and stuff, and a bottle hit Azir's teammate, who
uh,
wasn't the one that made the hit, but he was walking with them. So now you have the fans involved with stuff
right.
that that now game management needs to take care of that. And
That's
so
correct.
that's why it's important. That's why it's important for us as officials to find the game manager when we arrive at game sites, things like that, so that they're the people that need to take care of all that stuff that happens outside the field of play or the court of play. But that
Right.
happened as well. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So they did
yeah, yeah.
eject him.
And I will add, if in fact they saw who threw that item or whatever it was, uh, as an official, I'm pressing charges against that guy. You because it's a felony to attack an official or a player or whatever. So whoever that was that did that, if I was the player and I got hit and they know who threw that bottle, we go into court. You're gonna have a suit against you and stuff. That's uncalled for also.
Yeah.
And I understand you're angry and everything else, but all this bottle throwing stuff out there on the field because you're angry. It is just a game, but I understand how people get heated and everything. But it's no excuse for that kind of behavior, and it's
Yeah.
dangerous.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yep.
especially when you're out there amongst 50,000 folks, man, and and you just out there. Now in football, at least you got a helmet on. You better not take that helmet off when you're leaving out. But think about situations in baseball when that happens. When they
Oh
throw
man.
things from the stands, man, and you out there, you're the outfield out there, and they throwing all that stuff at you. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, it can get
Hey,
serious. So
look no further than the Malice in the Palace. Remember that in
that's right.
Detroit?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
You know.
remember. Yeah,
Yeah. You see how that turned out.
yeah,
So that got real ugly. But yeah, we had the unnecessary roughness penalty up there as well for those who can read that.
yeah.
But yeah, so you have those all these elements here on this play. Um, and on another episode, on another show, make it make sense. We're gonna dive into the injury piece of this because that was a serious concussion there. There's
Right,
people saying that if you look at him, he had that fencing um, pose. And for those
right.
who watch Olympics and you see fencing, they're doing their thing there. Like he was kind of posed like that. They're saying that's
Yeah.
one a real serious concussion. And so
Oh yeah.
that's why you have these rules in place because we're
Yeah.
trying, the sport is trying to, you know, keep. keep the longevity of the athletes. You know what I mean?
That's
So
right.
because it is a brutal sport. All right, one that I don't want to play.
I hear you.
Yes, sir. But yeah, we definitely hope Trevor Lawrence, recovers
Pray,
in
yeah,
a
pray
quick,
for
quick,
his
safe manner.
recovery and all. Absolutely.
Right, right. And hopefully your Jaguars can kind of, right the ship. They're going to
We
do it without Trevor Lawrence, but
we
hopefully
gonna
they
wait the
can
next.
hold the
We
fort down.
waiting the next year right now, Tyrone. We just
Okay, so,
yeah, yeah. We want
okay.
the
You
first
trying to get
round pick.
Shedeur? Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
trying
what
to
it
get
is to
Shedeur
me.
Sanders? Okay, I got
That's
you.
right.
All right, there you go. Or Travis Hunter, one or the other, right? So yeah.
That's right.
All right, either way, you'll be good, and
Yeah,
that'll be one of those players to help you out. I still
that's
want
right.
Shador to be a Seahawk, and learn behind Geno Smith. Still holding on to that hope.
That's
But
right.
we'll see what
That's right.
happens.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Oh, I appreciate it, Mr. Duval.
All right,
Getting up
man.
on this Monday
It's been
morning.
it's been fun, man. Been fun this morning.
Yes, sir. Hey, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Make sure you share. Because sharing is caring. Remember, watch us on YouTube. 411 Sports World Network on YouTube, and then also on the ground and on TikTok, Mr. 411. Make sure you do all those things for us. We definitely appreciate it. Because, hey, the more you do that, then the more pennies I can get to bring in Mr. Duval to continue to break down video for us. And definitely appreciate it. All
All
right.
right.
Well, Mr.
All right.
Duval, you have a great remainder of your day,
You
and
do the
everybody
same.
else do the same. All right.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Thank you. And look, everybody have a great day. We'll catch you next time on Make It Official. We out of here.